Shonda Rhimes is one of 4 covers on the 50 over 50 inclusive capital issue. And it's 4 female covers, which is super exciting for Forbes. She is the only woman from Hollywood to get a cover. And I think that's important and iconic, especially because she's a Black woman in Hollywood. And Hollywood not only has, over the last few years, been reckoning with a Me Too problem in terms of gender discrimination or sexual harassment and assault, and kind of how difficult it is for women to really succeed sometimes. Shonda Rhimes might be a surprising fit for the 50 over 50 list because a lot of her biggest hits came out before she turned 50. Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder. But the reason she's on the list is really because at 51, she's entered a new phase in her career with the Netflix deal she made a few years ago, and with Bridgerton being this international mega hit for Netflix. When Shonda was at ABC, she was basically the queen of the network to the outside world, right? She was commanding Thursday night. She was getting the most viewers. There were a ton of headlines saying how she was saving broadcast TV. But behind the scenes, there was always a negotiation. By the end, she was getting paid a lot, $250,000 an episode for Grey's Anatomy. At the same time, she always had to kind of fight to prove her value to ABC and to Disney. And that's even after she brought in $2 billion to the Disney empire. Around 2017, she started to realize, I'm one of the best storytellers in television right now. I'm one of the most valuable showrunners. Why am I fighting to get paid what I deserve or to get the creative freedom I deserve? And she started to meet with Netflix, with Ted Sarandos. At that point, she realized where she could get paid a ton of money up front, but more than just the money, she could get creative freedom, flexibility. She can make the kinds of shows she wanted to make. And she's really embraced that ever since. And we saw that with Bridgerton, which was the first show of her Netflix deal to come out. And it became, within a few weeks, Netflix's #1 show ever. In the first 28 days, 82 million households, or 40% of Netflix's paying audience, watched the 8-episode series Bridgerton. That smashed previous viewing records. A second season was booked within weeks. In April, Netflix renewed for seasons 3 and 4, and there's also a spinoff in the works based around her character, Queen Charlotte. So Shonda, who is already making $30 million a year to create exclusive content for the streamer, is expected to receive millions in bonus pay because of the series' success. Shonda Rhimes was the first person to sign an overall deal with a streaming service, and that was a really big deal back in 2017 when it happened. At Netflix, she earned the most money in 2021 than she's earned in her whole career. She'll earn close to $70 million this year, we estimate. Close to $40 million of that is coming from Netflix. And then she still obviously is making Grey's Anatomy and Station 19. And she also gets 8 figures in her share of Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, and How to Get Away with Murder profits. Since her television career began in 2005, she's earned more than $350 million pre-tax, making her one of the biggest showrunners in terms of earnings in Hollywood history. She knows what she deserves, and she's clear about what she deserves. She's this huge overarching figure. And so it's really cool to see that here's this 51-year-old woman in Hollywood, and she's still just getting started. And there's so much more of her career left, especially when it comes to an industry that really idolizes youth a lot. She is building the kind of company that Hollywood needs more of. A lot of women. It's extremely inclusive of every kind of race and every gender, and that's just so important. That she's not only putting people of color in her shows, she's actually building this empire, this company that is inclusive on all the rungs of the ladder. If she continues being as successful as she is, she will be the highest paid showrunner in television. And I think it's just a real lesson on betting on yourself and betting on your abilities to succeed.